An apostle is someone sent to teach a message. In Thomas's case, he had a message about Jesus. A lot of the apostles had nicknames. Do you remember what Jesus called Peter? He nicknamed Peter Cephas. Do you remember what Cephas means? That's right, Cephas means rock. What about James and John? What was Jesus' nickname for them? That's right, Jesus called these brothers the sons of thunder. Thomas had a nickname too. They called him Didymus. Didymus is a Greek word that means twin. So most people think that Thomas had a twin brother. In each one of the Gospels and Acts, Thomas shows up, but they don't tell us anything he said until the Gospel of John. In John chapter 11, we see Jesus ready to go to a place called Bethany. This little city was special because it was only 2 miles away from Jerusalem. Bethany was also special because one of Jesus' friends lived there with his 2 sisters. His name was Lazarus. Lazarus is very sick, so sick that he dies. Jesus is going to bring him back to life, but the Jews in Jerusalem want to kill Jesus, so he's been staying away from Jerusalem. Now he's decided it's time to go to Bethany to see Lazarus' sisters and to bring Lazarus back to life. But the apostles are telling him that if he goes that close to Jerusalem, the Jews will find him and kill him, and maybe them too. That's when Thomas speaks up. Let's go with Jesus, so we can die with him, Thomas says. When they get to Bethany, Jesus does bring Lazarus back to life, and the Jews don't kill Jesus this time, but it shows how brave Thomas was, that he was willing to go even though he thought they would all die. Later, Jesus was telling the apostles that he would have to leave them soon, but he didn't want them to be sad because they would be able to come to where he was one day. Thomas speaks up again. Jesus, we don't know where you're going. How could we possibly know how to get there? That's when Jesus said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father unless they come through me. We don't know what Thomas did for a job, but we do know that he went fishing with some of the other disciples after Jesus came back to life. Thomas is most famous, though, for what he said after Jesus came back to life. Most of the rest of the disciples had already seen Jesus resurrected, but Thomas wasn't with them, so he didn't get to see Jesus that time. When they told Thomas about Jesus being alive again, he said he wouldn't believe it until he could put his hands in the holes in Jesus' side and in his hands. The next time Jesus came, Thomas was there, and Jesus told him to feel the wounds in his hands and in his side. Thomas knew that then that Jesus was alive again.